Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. And today I want to talk to you about dry eyes and how I can help you in your practice to convert the patients and sign up for dry eyes. I will teach you some lessons that I learned in my throughout my journey when I started the dry eyes. Today I wanted to share with you 5 lessons that I've learned in my journey creating the dry eye practice. I have a private practice in central New Jersey, and I've been practicing for the last 17 years. I started with myopia as a specialty vertical in my practice, and then I saw a need right after COVID. A lot of patients were stuck indoors during COVID, and they came out with a lot of symptoms that I've never seen before. Dry eye syndrome was plentiful, and I wanted to serve those patients in my community, to serve that need. And I also wanted to create a meaningful practice in for myself to so that I can make more of an impact for my patients. So I started on that journey. I bought this shiny new instrument that cost a lot of money, and I had patients with dry eye symptoms. I would get really excited talking to them about how the symptoms, the instrument can help them with their symptoms. And I was telling them everything during the comprehensive because that was my one chance that I could tell them everything and how I can change their lives. And I got, the patient was like deer in headlights. They were like, wait, I just came in after 2 years of being stuck in COVID, and you're telling me I have dry eye syndrome? And it just didn't jive with them. So yes, there was a chief complaint of dry eyes, but when I got into the weeds of explaining the dry eyes too much. Even now, when I speak to doctors around the country to help them in their practices, the number one problem I have with the doctors is that they're talking about dry eyes and they're being too technical in the comprehensive exam. They talk about their instrument, they talk about meibomian gland dysfunction, and then they, throw out this expensive price tag of, a couple of $1,000s. It's out of pocket, it's not covered by insurance, and let's get you scheduled, let's get you signed up. And then the doctors, when the patients don't sign up or they don't come back, let's say a lot of them even say, yes, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and talk to my spouse and I will come back to get the treatment. They never show up. And that's the pain point that I felt when I started out, and I still see a lot of the doctors suffering from that, is that they are not able to convert. Now, what I was doing was I was confusing the patients during my comprehensive exam. Okay. I didn't address their cognitive dissonance, which is they had silent questions in their heads and they weren't being answered. They just came in for a comprehensive eye exam. They really wanted me to tell them their eyes were good. They did good during COVID. And then instead, I was selling them something. They had a lot of questions in their head and they didn't see me as trustworthy. A lot of the doctors also tell me even now that they fear telling them about the price tag or the fee for dry eye treatment, and they feel like they're being too salesy. So they don't really dive fully into it or commit. There's no commitment, there's no certainty in their voice, and that's why they're not able to sign up these patients. So what, our dilemma is, as doctors, we want to help our patients. We see the need. We want to get away from the plans. We want to create this life for our practice, for ourselves, for our staff, and also above all, serve the community in the best way possible, because we're really passionate about dry eye disease and solving it and being a part in helping this issue without being salesy. So I got really frustrated with this. It wasn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I said, okay, time out. I'm going to learn from the best. I'm going to walk in the footsteps of the people that have already become masters, and I'm going to shorten my trajectory. I'm going to shorten my learning curve. So frustrated, I sought the help of my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Todd Cohen, who's in the Chicago area. And I also listened to a lot of the webinars right after COVID. And I leaned upon my own myopia management experience that I was really good at, telling the patients to sign up. And what I realized was that the patients have changed over the last 10 to 15 years. It's not about how, it's no longer, they're not believing the doctor and blindly and just doing whatever the doctor is asking them to do. They want to do their research. It needs to make sense to them. I need to share with them, um, you know, it, it, why this matters to them so much more than a few years ago. And I'm going to share with you how I did that and how you can translate that in your dry eye practice. Today, patients go on social media. They learn about dry eyes on TikTok and Instagram and ChatGPT. And the social media, the AI is educating patients about their dry eyes. And it's no longer you in the exam room making that connection, and they're not listening to you. They need to verify from a third party source that what you're saying is correct. It's it's their intelligence level of getting treatments on themselves has gone really well, not intelligence level, but the awareness has gone up. And the time that we have in the exam rooms of how much we get to connect with our patients is eroding the trust between the doctors and the patients. A lot of us go into the exam room and we're spending maybe 5 or 10 minutes during the comprehensive exam to really give them our attention, do the testing, and then move on to the next exam room. The doctors who are not doing that and spending half an hour talking about dry eye syndrome are also frustrated by the way. It's not working. So the comprehensive exam is not where you want to convert them. Patients want to go home after you give them a snippet of what is concerning to them. They want to make their healthcare decisions after 9 p.m., when they've put their kids to bed, when they're in bed, when they're collaborating, and when they have their spouse next to them, or their trusted next to them, to say, hey, what do you think? I was talking to the doctor, and this is what she told me, and it's going to be this many dollars, but this is why it's important. They want to take a time out. They want to take a pause and understand and educate themselves about their health care, about their eyes, after they leave your exam room. So what is the solution? The solution is that we all have to adapt to this new psychology of the patients. Okay. My foundation has become, in my specialty care, my myopia and my dry eyes, is to educate the patients first. Okay. Then earn trust. Leaning into education lets you earn trust of the patients. And then you want to be seen as the subject matter expert in the subject that you're telling them about, that it matters to them. Number one lesson: do not try to convert them in the comprehensive visit. It doesn't work. Some doctors tell me it works really well, but it doesn't work for the very high functioning practices. You need to just tell them enough during the comprehensive visit and then bring them back after you educate them for an ocular surface evaluation. Okay. Now, what that does is, after you leave them after the comprehensive visit, and they watch videos, they do their own Google search, you give them some materials to read and to watch, they earn your trust. You prime them for their subject, what their healthcare, what is they don't, a lot of the 50% of them don't have symptoms. So when they come to you, you need to educate them about what it is. Even if they have symptoms, you still need to educate them about what this condition is for it to make sense to them. Lesson number 2, start with meibography on every comprehensive exam. You must do meibography. If you just lean on the symptoms that patients may have, you're missing out the 50% of the patients who have meibomian gland dysfunction and don't have any symptoms. And within the 50% that do have symptoms, most of them, 80%, are going to justify that I'm okay. I don't need to do anything with my symptoms. I can deal with a little bit of runny eyes or burning eyes while I'm on the computer towards the end of the day. They're going to rationalize in their heads. Okay, so symptoms alone don't work. Patient want proof. They want to see what is getting worse in their body. It's similar to when they go to their dentist and they see their root x-ray, and if something, if they have gum disease, the doctor points out to the gum disease and tells you all about the cavities and stuff that you can't really see with the naked eye. And that's when it's really impactful. That's when they go home and say, oh my gosh, honey, I have these cavities. Similarly, they go home and they will say to their family members, my glands in my eyes, because I'm using so many devices and I'm not blinking enough, that these glands are dying, they're deteriorating, and that's concerning. See, that leaves a mark in their minds. Number 3 is that you must, after you've told them what is wrong with them and that you want to offer a solution, before that, you must educate them at home so they can collaborate, they can understand their condition, and they can collaborate with their loved ones to see if the pause in their life of doing the treatment is really worth it. And number 4, you must use clear language, especially when you bring them back, also in the comprehensive, and when you bring them back for ocular surface evaluation. Don't confuse them. Don't talk about that technology. Nobody cares about your technology. You must, as a doctor, enter their world and their problem. You must connect with them, build a rapport, and then tell them about the solution. They care about their life. They don't care about you and your shiny new machine or instrument. Talk about their problem, talk about their life, talk about the fact that they have so many, so much screen time now compared to 10 years ago. They have, a lot of my patients are working on multiple screens. Talk about that. Hey, you might be working on multiple screens. Now, more than ever, especially after COVID, we have a phone, we have a work phone, we have a laptop, we have desktop. And then we're not on all of this, we're watching TV. So there's no blinking. See, it makes sense to them. Now their cognitive dissonance, it flows because you're addressing their doubts in their minds, because they've already watched the videos, they've already seen, they've already done their Google search. So talk about the problem 75% of the time and solution only 25% of the time. This is not me. This is Don Miller. Go get his book, Building a Story Brand. And he's a guru of conversion. He's a guru of sales and marketing, one of the gurus. And also you have to simplify your language. Be clear. Don't say, what I recommend is this. Say, what I see is concerning. What I see is that your meibomian glands are deteriorating. If we leave them alone, they are going to keep on this path. We must figure out why this is happening. Once I have the diagnostic test in front of me, I can put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out the journey for you to course correct so that your glands are optimized. I want to help you see better and clearer and consistently for a very, very long time to come. We don't want to wait for disease to set in, for symptoms to set in, because that is often too late. We want to fix it, and we want to course correct it. See, I always come from a point of helping the patients as if they don't have symptoms. And half of my treatments in my office are patients that don't have any symptoms because I follow these steps. Lesson number 5, you have to use during your ocular surface evaluation, you have to use visuals so that patients can understand. It's very hard for them. Research it tells us that patients only listen to 30% or remember 30%, recall 30% of what you said to them in the exam room. But seeing really helps and amplifies what goes into their brains. So you want to talk to them about, you want to show them the glance, which is normal, moderate loss, severe loss. You want to talk to them about the treatments visually, what kind of treatments there are. Here on the right side, I show them these kind of treatments. These are the treatments. These are the treatments we have in our office. Or, what is IPL therapy? What is lipoflow? And it makes sense to them. It makes you look like the subject matter expert. It's not just that you're saying some words and asking them to spend a couple of $1,000s. You've invested yourself, and you look like the subject matter expert because you're showing them. You have time for them. You've booked a half hour for the ocular surface evaluation. You're not rushed in the comprehensive, and you're using visuals to demonstrate all of that. All of these steps get the patients in state. It primes them, gets them in state to say yes to you for the treatment that you're offering. Also, you want to measure your progress, because if you can't, you can't manage what you don't measure. So you don't want to wait for those no sign up months to happen, or very low sign up months to happen. You want to precede that with seeing how you're doing. When you measure your success, then you can turn the levers and see what's working and what's not working, and then get those numbers up. Okay. So tips in summary is, you must commit to that specialty care, dry eye treatment. Don't dabble in it. If you're going to do it right. Do the meibography. Uh, you know, have them come back for ocular surface evaluation. Commit 100% that you are going to serve this patient population to make their lives better, help them survive, not only survive, but thrive by making and optimizing their gland function so they can see clearly, consistently throughout their lifetime. Number 2, be open to change. Learn a new process. Maybe change the process in your own exam, in your practice. Adapt best practices from the experts that have led the way before you. Use the tools to scale. You want to use technology to scale faster. Don't just dabble. Don't be afraid. Go all in. What's the worst that's going to happen? Number 3, know your numbers. Measure what you're doing. You can do it in a simple Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet. Just measure how many comps you have, how many came back for ocular surface evaluations, how many did the treatments, how many are scheduled for follow-ups after, if they didn't sign up, and measure and track that every week. Get a plan, get a process, execute. And then finally, you have to execute on everything. You can't just have it in your brain and mind and just know everything about dry eyes, and you're the expert because you know everything about meibomian gland dysfunction because you sat on all these webinars, but you haven't executed enough. You haven't done enough. You've got to start executing. It's progress over perfection. Even when your own mind says, I don't know enough, I can't be the subject matter expert, I don't know, you've got to do what it takes. You've got to execute and see what the marketplace, how the marketplace gives you, what feedback it gives you, so that you can improve yourself. So progress over perfection. Okay. I hope that helps. those were my 5 lessons that I've learned in my practice. I hope that you can take that in your practice and change something today so that you can see results in the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much. I am Dr. Shefali Miglani, and I hope I was able to serve you guys. Thank you.